it has been a couple of weeks since we last spoke. And last week, obviously, the early signing period gets going underway. And we all know the reality right now with South Carolina's recruiting class and the situation they're in. I think you sit like 100th in the country in recruiting. You only have 8 signees. And we all kind of watch from afar the job that Shane Beamer is doing. He's now officially done with his duties at Oklahoma. He's full-time in Columbia watching the team go through bowl practice, which he's not going to be coaching the bowl game, which if fans don't understand, that is standard practice for a new head coach when he comes in. They normally don't take over and coach that bowl game. But let's first talk about the recruiting class, because I'm not sure how closely you follow all that stuff or follow recruiting or whatever, but I know a lot of fans have been freaking out a little bit because of you're literally ranked dead last in the SEC. You're ranked like 100th. But again, it's one of those things where you don't even have a full coaching staff right now. So what can you really expect? And signing day goes all the way through to February. I told fans I'm expecting Shane Beamer to hammer 2 areas really hard: junior college players and transfers, because the transfer portal, I don't know if you've seen, Alex, it's literally going to be like free agency this offseason in college football. Players can play immediately next year. We've already started to hear players from Oklahoma in the transfer portal. Quarterback Tanner Mordecai is a guy that a lot of people are thinking maybe he's going to follow Shane Beamer to Columbia. I think they just had like another 4-star running back from 2018 into the transfer portal. So I think you're going to see Shane Beamer and company, because they've got about 17 spots to fill. I think you're going to really see them attack that hard. But just any thoughts from you on the recruiting side of things? Again, I know you probably don't follow that too closely, but I'm sure you're one of these people. You're keeping it pretty level-headed, not freaking out with it being so early in that signing class process, if you will.
Yeah, I mean, I tangentially follow it. Like I'll click on it and see kind of where we are, but I'm not like reading blog posts about like the temperature of a 16-year-old on which way he's going to break on a
Yeah.
recruiting visit. From the class perspective, I mean, it's early signing period, so we've got another 2 months before this thing is signed, sealed, and delivered. And you're talking about, when you look at JUCOs, when you look at transfer portal, a lot of those guys have bowl games coming up that they're trying to get ready for, and then they're going to make a big decision. So, at the end of the day, I would say let's be patient and wait this out and see kind of where we end up in February. I know there's another big piece of this too, and I don't know how exactly this shakes out, but with the way that the COVID protocol worked this year, where this doesn't count, you've got to have a really good idea of what your seniors are going to do and whether they're going to come back, because the way I understand it is if they decide to come back, that counts against your scholarships that you can offer.
Yeah. And Beamer actually, I believe so. And Beamer actually said that as far as he knows, he is not, there's nobody else that's expressed they're going to leave senior wise. So there should be a fair amount of seniors coming back for South Carolina.
Okay. Well, I mean, and so you got to take that into account too. So it's like, if you only have 8 spots, and 2, the way those rivals rankings work, if you only have 8 players, but they're quality players,
yeah, 8 3-star players. 8 3-star players, yeah.
Yeah, and if you got 25 somewhere else, they're just inherently going to have a higher rating than you are based on those numbers. So, I mean, it is what it is. I'm not worried about it in the least bit.
Yeah, I think, like I said, it's going to be really interesting to see, because, again, you're starting to see guys from Oklahoma into the portal. And, we know Shane Beamer has contacts everywhere. And, I mean, he's obviously recruited all over the Southeast and obviously in that region where Oklahoma is now. And I'll just be very curious to see how many. I don't think it's a question of if you get a cut. It's like how many guys can he and does he pull from the transfer portal? Because, again, if you're Shane Beamer, you obviously, I mean, there's not pressure, I would say, like a ton of pressure to win in year one, but you want to get this thing off on the right foot. And, I mean, heck, if you can bring a couple of 4 or 5-star wide receivers from Oklahoma that aren't seeing a lot of playing time and get them on your roster, I think he's going to do that. You know what I mean? Like, I think he's going to try to bring in as many players.
Transaction.
Yeah, right. No, for sure. And like I said, they're immediately eligible. So, I would say to fans, do not be surprised if you see this Tanner Mordecai kid from Oklahoma. Hey, the more competition, the better. Iron sharpens iron. And you say to yourself, hey, we got Ryan Linsky, we have Luke Doty, we've got Gauthier coming in, but as the many guys you can add, the better. And I tell people ask me all the time, who's the starting quarterback going to be, Chris? Who's the quarterback going to be? And I'm like, what if I would have told you at this time last year that our starting quarterback would have been a transfer from Colorado State? Would you have ever believed me? So you just never really know what's going to happen.
Yes. Yes, I would have.
With that staff that was in place,
based on the staff,
just assume the wackiest outcome possible. But no, I definitely think Shane Beamer and company will hit the transfer portal hard. I think the class will begin to take much more shape once we find out who the coordinators are and who this coaching staff is.